Well. Come to find out, Tom Brady is not retired after all. In an utterly shocking development, Tom Brady took to social yesterday to inform the world that he would, in fact, return for another season with the Bucs after emphatically retiring like 40 days ago. You remember that drop on social media, how long it was? You remember all that? I mean, given what he said and how he said it, who the hell saw this coming? Besides everybody in the world not named his wife and his kids. Hell, even they probably knew. If not when he announced his retirement, but probably about 3 days into his retirement. Brady himself probably knew his retirement was a lie the second he announced it. He probably just saw it as a great opportunity to rip attention away from championship weekend and get people to look at him. Look away from the games and look at him. That's probably what that was. Just like he saw a great opportunity to hijack Selection Sunday yesterday and make an announcement that surprised absolutely nobody at all. Of course this dude is coming back. Most predictable thing ever, and the most tedious dude in America rides yet again. And if you're shocked, you should not be. If you're surprised, you should not be. And if you're excited and you're happy about it, fine, great, whatever. Whatever works for you. I'm not going to say I told you so, but I told you so. In fact, I was willing to accept his unretirement if it meant it would put an end to the nonstop flow of tedious info and speculation and updates from him ever since he quote-unquote retired. We were getting it from him every single day. And then yesterday he made it official. He tweeted, quote, "These past 2 months, I've realized my place is still on the field and not in the stands. That time will come, but it's not now. I love my teammates, and I love my supportive family. They make it all possible. I'm coming back from my 23rd season in Tampa, unfinished business, LFG." End of quote. Tell you what. First of all, why don't we start with that first sentence? Have you ever heard a cornier first sentence than that? Quote, "My place is still on the field and not in the stands." I mean, easy, Walt Whitman. We don't need your 8th grade poetry here, brah. I love the idea also that his place was going to be in the stands. Like this dude was just going to show up for every Bucs game with his face painted and cheer on the home team. The hell he was. And the hell he was going to spend time with his kids. That is so hilarious to me that he says, "These past 2 months." Dude, first of all, you retired about 30 seconds ago. It was last month. It wasn't 2 months ago. And from the moment you announced it, you were Patrick Peterson sinking the hips and backpedaling your ass off to get away from it. Every single week, there's been at least one indication from him that he was coming back. So, of course, the announcement was coming. And as I mentioned at that time, even when he announced his retirement, he couldn't even commit to the idea of retiring. Remember, he didn't even use the word retiring when he announced he was retiring. So, of course, the guy was coming back. This was always going to happen. The first announcement about his retirement had some garbage about needing to be, quote, all in. About having, quote, a 100% competitive commitment, end of quote. Which is even more hilarious given that he quit last month and then he came back this month. He quit last month, and then he quit retirement. Nothing says all in and 100% competitive commitment like quitting 1 month and coming back the next. So I guess he was not all in on the family after all. You remember how big a clown show that was? Remember? The news of his retirement leaked on a Saturday. He didn't say anything. Then he did a podcast where he said he had not made a decision and he was thinking it over. And then a few hours later, he released that Magna Carta about retiring. Do you remember that clown show? Do you remember how long that post was about that retirement? The second he dropped that thing, I started reading it. And I just finished about an hour ago. And no sooner than I finished reading that Magna Carta about his retirement, he announces that he's unretired and he's coming back. Like, there are New Year's resolutions with more legs than that retirement. Fresh fruit and vegetables, things that Ike knows nothing about. Fresh fruit and vegetables have a longer shelf life than this guy's retirement. Except you, Rit, all that processed garbage you eat has a shelf life of forever. It can sit in a box forever. Anyway, I love the fact. What's up, Ike? Good to see you again, man. Thanks for still being above ground. I love the fact.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I love this notion. I love the fact that in his tweet, Brady actually says, I love my teammates, before he says, I love my supportive family. It's incredible. I love my teammates. He literally gave them top billing over his, quote, supportive family. Remember when Les Snead wore a shirt that said, bleep them picks? It's like Tom Brady is throwing on a shirt that says, bleep them kids. I mean, all that talk about wanting to spend more time with his family, about transitioning into a different phase of his life. And from the moment that reality kicked in, it's like he wanted no part of it. Bleep them kids. Bleep that life. He's sitting around, eating his strawberries and his nightshades, hanging out with his kids. And then he realized, man, my kids are boring as hell. This life is boring as hell. Life with y'all sucks. No offense. Like, I'm not saying you all suck. I'm just saying this all sucks. It's just so boring. I just spent huge chunks. This is what the guy, think about this. This guy's mindset. I just spent 2 years with Antonio Brown, and I would still rather hang with him than my kids.
Mr. Big Chest.
Right? And don't tell me this is harsh or unfair. Look at the decision he just made. After what he said when he retired about the need to spend time with his family. Look, I'm sure this dude is about his family. I'm not saying he's not. He probably is about his family. He probably even likes those people. Just not as much as he loves football. It's pretty clear that means more to him than his family, or he would not have already unretired to join his real family, the Bucs. He wants to spend more time with his teammates than with the wife and the kids, obviously, or you don't make that decision. Urban Meyer, a.k.a. Pervin Liar.
You're a liar.
And a perv. Pervin Liar cannot believe how Brady used his family as a prop.
Stayed to see the grandkids.
And then ditched them as quickly as possible. I mean, this dude's practically making Herb look like Father of the Year material.
That's devastating.
And how do you explain this to your kids? How miserable must this guy have been around the house for everybody to be okay with it? Good, Dad. Why don't you do that? Go back to football. It actually was getting pretty old having you around here, too. Believe us, we're as sick of you as you are of us. Go play another year, Pop. In fact, go play 5 more years if you want. And of course he announced it on Selection Sunday. Do you think that he gives one crap at all about college basketball or anything other than him? This is the same guy whose retirement leaked on championship weekend. Of course he was going to make it about him. When is he not? He has become or became the ultimate look-at-me dude from the very second he escaped from New England. This guy really is making me wish he never left the Patriots. Back then, he never said anything because, you know, the Patriot way. But back then, when he never said anything, he was so much cooler, so much more interesting. So much more interesting when we knew next to nothing about him until we found out what he's really like. I'm telling you, I like that guy so much more when I knew nothing about him. But every time this dude reaches for his phone or opens up his mouth, he makes it all worse, not better. Instead of being one of the more self-aware guys I've ever seen, he's actually one of the worst in that regard. He went from being a stone-cold assassin to like the corniest, most tedious dude around. And now he just won't stop. The only good thing about Tom Brady coming out of retirement is maybe that Tom Brady movie about Tom Brady, starring Tom Brady, will be postponed. But I doubt that. If there's more money and attention for him, he will find a way to make it work. And how about that person who paid more than $500,000 for Brady's last touchdown ball at auction, an auction that happened on Saturday night? But you want to talk about a speculative stock. How the hell is that person feeling right about now? You drop more than $500,000 on a football. $500,000. And then a few hours later, it's worthless. That ball is barely worth more than a ball that you could buy at Dick's Sporting Goods right about now. That dude is probably out in the street, not even on a field, but out in the street, throwing that ball around with his boys, scuffing the hell out of it. May as well, because it's not like it's worth anything right about now. Then again, if you've got that kind of jack to spend on something like that, I think that you'd be more of a shrewd investor. But no shrewd investor would have bet anything at all on this guy staying retired. The question was not whether he'd unretire, but rather how long it would take. And I say this again because if you listen to his retirement announcement, he never actually retired. So yes, Tom Brady is back. But who knows for how long? In fact, I'll give you one more little angle here. I'm not even 100% convinced that he's going to play this season with the Bucs. Yeah, I mean, I know they released a statement about him coming back. But what about all those reports a few weeks back that he didn't like the offense, that things were not all put together and he was not on the same page, and there were other things in the organization that alienated him? Is that still a thing? How about all that speculation that he wanted to go to the team that he grew up idolizing, Frisco? Or was this retirement, quote unquote, all a ploy to get what he wanted from the organization? But didn't the organization already give him everything he wanted? Who knows, right? Listen, I know some of you are really aggravated by that take, and some of you are really pissed off, and you're fired up that Brady's coming back. Good for you. I'm not saying you shouldn't be. He's welcome to come back. I didn't say I didn't want this guy back, per se. Like, believe me, this guy can still play now. He can still play. He had a great year, and he should play as long as he wants to play and as long as somebody's willing to pay him. That's great. But, let's not act like this dude is some sort of hero for coming back. Let's not act like the NFL needed this guy to come back. There's already Joe Burrow. There's already Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and I can keep going. The league was fine without Brady, and it will be fine when he finally does go away. I just wish that he would shut up about all of this. But I know that's not going to happen. The only thing surprising is that he did not fire off that tweet on Thursday when March Madness starts to heat up. In fact, knowing this dude, he may retire on Thursday to try to control the news cycle once again. Can you imagine him, like, on that day making the announcement either way? You're a school like, I don't know, Longwood. Don't do it, clones. Don't do it. You're a school like Longwood. So you're Longwood, and you scrape, and you claw, and you fight all season long. You finally get some shine. You finally get on the big stage.
Finally.
And there's old Tommy, the wet blanket, coming in and just crushing any spirit you had. Students hyped out of their minds. And Tommy, the baking soda, just sprinkling his boring powder and smothers the life out of you. I'll tell you who I see working too. The Vikings, Minnesota. I see you. I see you working. Not for signing Kirk Cousins, but for announcing it after Tommy's tweet. You know, you make kind of a bland, uneventful move like re-signing Kirk for a year that fires up pretty much nobody in the city or in the building. Hey, damn right you make that announcement under the Tom Brady hype fog. Yeah, my bottom line point, yeah, great, he's back. One, don't act surprised. And two, it's fine if you're happy about that and you want to see the guy play again. That's fine. That's fine. Just do not act like this guy's a hero and somehow save the NFL by coming back. I mean, come on, stop with that. Get bullcrap out of here. And of course he did it on Selection Sunday.